Good afternoon. The story takes place in a small Michigan town in 1944. The setting is an old building that once was a bus stop station and postal office. It opens in 1993 with Meghan Michelle Appleby returning after being away for nearly 49 years. She soon discovers memories don't easily disappear over passing time. Within moments, a bus approaching is heard. There's going to be a delay due to mechanical problems with the bus. The fourth passenger is an 18 years old young man. He's wearing a navy blue United States Naval uniform and carrying a duffel bag swung over his shoulder. It's now early evening and the snow is beginning to fall. Petrice musters herself together and greets the passengers.
Hello, folks. Make yourselves comfortable and I'll bring out some donuts and coffee for you. I was informed you might be staying the night due to mechanical problems with your bus. And there's a hotel just a half block down the street with clean sheets and tidy rooms if you're interested. If you're not, I've got enough blankets for you. We're sorry about your inconvenience, especially on it being Christmas Eve.
She begins to go to the back room, but is approached by Seaman First Class Michael Chalkin. He pulls a letter out of his coat. Excuse me, ma'am?
May I help you?
Do you know where I can mail this letter?
You're in the right place. This bus station also serves as the post office. Here, give it to me and I'll send it off for you.
Thank you, ma'am. Petrice turns to the other passengers.
Excuse me, before I forget, there's a diner next to the hotel in case you're hungry.
The three singers give a mutual thank you and decide to head down to the diner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Petrice walks behind the counter and looks closely at his envelope as Michael opens his duffel bag and takes a few items out.
Young man, apparently you left no return address. Would you please address it for me?
Yes, ma'am. I must have been in a hurry. He moves to the counter and she hands him a pen.
It happens all the time. Then they come in here wondering why their mail isn't being answered.
Thank you again, ma'am.
I'm Petrice. Can I save you from calling me ma'am, which sounds a little too old for me?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, Petrice. It's sort of a habit with me.
And who might you be?
Why, I'm Seaman First Class Michael Chalkin.
Do you mind my calling you by your first name?
No, ma'am. There I go again. I'm like a horse that can find the barn with his eyes closed. Like I said, habits don't lose me very often.
So, Michael, are you off to war?
Yes, I am. Got my orders just the other day.
Where are you from?
Traverse City, Michigan. That's right up here on the west side of northern Michigan.
Well, that's not very far from here.
That's right. And I'm shipping out on my first commission.
What's the name of your ship?
I'm not supposed to be offering that type of information. I've got my regulations.
I'm sure you do. And I think your skipper would be mighty proud of you.
You know what they say, loose lips sink ships.
Then let's keep it a secret.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, no.
Don't say it.
They both share a laugh together as the lights slowly dim to black. The lights slowly rise on Meghan and Curtis. Meghan stands and takes a few steps.
This part of my life has been shut all these years. The passage of time can't conceal what's truly important. Curtis, do you want to hear something funny?
I'm always good for a laugh.
I haven't cried a single day in nearly 50 years. Not even when my mother died. Isn't that horrible?
Well, I ain't laughing. Yes. Yes, it is.
Does that make me a bad person?
I remember my mother on the day my little brother Charles died after his tractor accident. Our house was filled with family and friends seeking to bring a little comfort our way. My mother, forever the consummate hostess, sought to inspire all those who were down in the mouth. I don't recollect ever seeing a tear drop from her eyes, not even at her son's funeral. Oh, there was talk about others who thought it was strange behavior, but I knew she loved him. There were times I too had my doubts about her, but now in looking back, I realize she must have had a big hurt in her life that she was trying to cover up somehow. Until the day she died, she never talked about that day we buried him.
Poor little Greta. There's a little more on December 24th, 1944. Here goes. He was pleasant enough, seemed like a fine young man. There's no way of telling what was to happen later on. Because of the bus being broken down, we were forced to make accommodations as pleasant as possible. And being that it was Christmas Eve, we tried all the harder.
The light slowly dimmed to black as the lights slowly rise on the three singers sitting quietly talking and the young sailor reading on a bench. Petrice is straightening up where the coffee and donuts are when Greta Heisenberg enters wearing an overcoat and carrying a suitcase.
Greta, what are you up to? I'm leaving, Mrs. Appleby. Does your father know? No. Come with me.
She takes Greta by her hand and they move to the counter where the phone is.
I'm not calling him. I'm old enough to make my own decisions. Yes, you are, but he deserves better than from you running off into the night. I love him, but I can't live in his world anymore. I don't expect you to, but this isn't the way to go about it. I know you mean well, but nothing you say is going to change my mind. Wait right here. I'll be right back.
Petrice goes into the back room, leaving Greta standing at the counter. During their conversation, Michael had noticed Greta. She scans over the room and comes upon his admiring stare. Both are temporarily fixated and faintly smiling as Petrice returns.
Greta, I have my reservations for what you're doing, but you're within your rights. I want you to write down the address where you can be reached. I'll confidently hold on to it in case you need to be notified for any important reason. If you don't do this for me, I will call your father this very minute. You've never lied to me, Mrs. Appleby, and I don't intend to now. Here's the pen and paper.
Greta picks up the pen and writes the information.
Thank you for being my friend. I don't deserve any thank you. If your father knew I was doing this, he'd never speak to me again. All right, you'll need a ticket. Where are you going? Wichita, Kansas. If your father catches you before you leave town, you're on your own, okay? Yes, I understand. Good. I'll have your ticket for you soon.
Petrice exits into the back room. Greta turns around and sees Michael, still staring at her. She picks up her suitcase and walks toward him. It's a strange time of night to be traveling, especially on Christmas Eve.
Yes, it is. What's wrong with your bus?
It started making horrible noises as we were coming up the grade. Then it started sputtering and jerking until a loud bang was heard with the dark clouds of smoke rising from the engine.
Well, do you think they'll fix it before morning?
You sound like you're in a hurry.
I am, actually.
Where you headed?
Kansas?
What's waiting for you in Kansas?
Nothing, really. I'm just looking for a change.
Changes are good. I know how you feel.
You do?
Yeah, but the worst kind of changes are when you're running away from something. Take me, for instance. I'm heading toward a heap of trouble in the South Pacific.
You sound happy to be going to war.
I am. I come from a Navy family. It's in my blood.
Aren't you worried just a little?
Not a bit. My daddy always used to say, don't worry about the branch following on your head if you're enjoying the shade. You can't go through life worrying about slipping on the ice. Take it one day at a time and let the problems come as they may. She puts her hand out to him.
I'm Greta.
I'm Michael Chalkin. Maggie and Jason enter and notice Greta shaking hands.
What are you doing, Greta? What does it look like?
Hi, Greta.
Hello, Jason. Are you going somewhere?
She's off to Kansas.
Kansas? What are you going to do there?
She's going to look around and find something.
Is he going with you? No, Maggie. He seems to know a lot about you. We just met. Don't you have something else to do? I don't think so. Michael, I could use some fresh air. Would you like to join me?
Seems like a nice night. I'd love to. Michael stands, jutting his bent arm out to her. She puts her arm through his, and they walk out the front door. Petrice enters.
Listen up, folks. Since it's Christmas Eve, I thought you would like to make it a little special here. I'm heating up some apple cider, and I have some pumpkin pie and cookies in the oven. It'll be ready before long. Maggie, Jason, I could use your help in the kitchen.
Petrice exits as Maggie turns to Jason.
JD, there are times I wish I was going to Kansas. Come on. Last ones to the kitchens does the dishes.